A satellite is an object in space that orbits or circles around a bigger object. What you see on the screen right now are these satellites being tracked. The red dots are satellites, blue dots are rocket bodies, and the grey dots represent the space debris. You can see this for yourself by visiting Stuffin.space. I'll leave a link in the description. In this video, we will be talking about artificial satellites, and particularly the ones we have launched to do various activities. This ring that looks like it's solid in color is actually the Geostationary Orbit, or as some people call it, the Clarke's belt. The belt lies at 35,786 kilometers above the Earth's equator. The orbital period of the satellites in this orbit is equal to the Earth's rotational period. That basically means from Earth it appears motionless and is a fixed position in the sky. The concept of this belt was popularized by Arthur C. Clarke in 1940s to help in the telecommunication industry. Hence it's called the Clarke's belt. This is a video that was released by European Space Agency ESA. It is a pretty old video and the objects are magnified so that you could see them better, but it gives us an idea of the sheer amount of satellites that are orbiting our Earth and how the space debris will become a problem at a certain point. There were 5,774 individual satellites in space at the end of March 2020. 580 objects were launched into space during 2019, which comes to around 1.5 satellites a day, which is crazy. This was the largest annual number ever recorded, and it was set to break in 2020, as until the middle of May we had launched another 430 satellites. According to United Nations Office for Outer Space Affairs, there have been 9,456 objects ever launched. However, 20% of this, that is 1,919, have been launched in the last 3 years alone. There are currently 2,666 active satellites in orbit, which is around 46% of the total 5,774 objects in space. This means we have 3,108 hunks of metal just flying around Earth at thousands of kilometers per hour, doing nothing. According to UCS, the Union of Concerned Scientists database, the top 5 countries with most operational satellites are USA, China, Russia, UK and Japan. SpaceX is on the top as they operate 358 satellites, with ISRO, Indian Space Research Organization, on the 10th spot, with 45 operational satellites out of the 104 launched on a single rocket. India back in 2017 set a record for most satellites launched simultaneously on one rocket. Problems like space debris, radio, and light pollution are increasing in magnitude, so you must be wondering how we set to deal with space debris now that there are more and more launches. Getting rid of small satellites in low orbits is simple. The heat from friction of air just burns the satellites when they fall towards Earth at thousands of kilometers per hour. Bigger things like space stations and larger spacecrafts in low orbit might not entirely burn up. Spacecraft operators plan for a final destination. This place is called the spacecraft cemetery. It is in the Pacific Ocean and is pretty much the furthest place from any human civilization you can find. Higher satellites, however, are blasted further away and are sent into the graveyard orbit. It lies away from common operational orbits. Satellites are sent here at the end of their operational life to reduce the probability of colliding with operational spacecrafts in order to prevent the generation of space debris and the eventual birth of the Kessler syndrome. But we'll talk about that in a bit. Now if we talk about space debris, according to NASA, there are 40,000 pieces of space debris that are a few inches or centimeters long, whereas tiny pieces that are less than 1 centimeter are over 150 million. The problem is, it can be fatal to any space station. As a matter of fact, back in 2012, a piece from the Iridium and Russian military satellite collision that happened back in 2009 endangered ISS. Events that are similar to this help in explaining the Kessler syndrome. The Kessler syndrome basically states that one collision produces a lot of debris, which grows as each piece collides with more satellites. The movie Gravity used this syndrome to build a story. Now, what exactly happened in 2009? Well, two satellites collided at the speed of 42,120 kilometers per hour. It created an explosion that was equivalent to 20 tons of TNT, and this resulted in a lot of debris. To show the explosion, we can take an example of the Tianjin explosion that happened in 2015, which is considered to be equivalent to 21 tons of TNT. And this is what it looks like.
I'm videoing it. What the? Whoa! Oh! What the? I think we are dead. Let's go!
So back in 2009, the Iridium satellite from US, which is still considered to be one of the most popular communication networks, it comes at the 5th position for most operational satellites, with 78 in orbit right now. It collided with the Russian military satellite, the Cosmos 2251. The Russian satellite had been inactive for 12 years, but the Iridium satellite was operational. The Iridium satellite even had an alert that said that they were 500 meters apart, but obviously that wasn't as precise as it should have been. This resulted in 2,000 pieces of debris. You can see the debris being tracked on the screen right now. Some returned back to Earth, and now the count is around 1,000 pieces. Even though the pieces that are a couple of inches long are not tracked. That's scary because it's enough to destroy a spacecraft. And this isn't the only case. Fengyan 1C was a Chinese weather satellite that was destroyed using military-grade rockets for testing. This resulted in the generation of more debris. Space debris is definitely going to be a problem of the future, considering there is a chance that we might have to find another habitat. With the amount of launches that are happening right now and how they are increasing every year, it's both fascinating and scary. It wouldn't be crazy to think that there would be a time when we would send out space garbage trucks that clear out all the debris. That would be it for this video. Thank you for watching, and please don't forget to like and subscribe if you like my content.